get maybe two questions at one time, then I will have to, yes. Question, and then another question. Anybody else have a question? Okay, last question. Yes, please.
One of the things that you said about tolerance...
If you don't mind, if you could just stand up.
One of the things that you said about peace and tolerance is one thing, but what actions have you planned or are you planning to do? The reason I say that, for instance, the organization like Habitat for Humanity, not only they talk, but also they bring people to projects and help them help others.
Right.
What are you planning to do to bring the communities together?
That's a good question. Because obviously what we say in the sanctuary has to be seen in the street. That's why the way houses of worship have to have windows.
Sure.
Because, right, what you say here has to be seen there. What many of us are trying to do is go beyond the talk. I'm very close to Imam Shamsi Ali, who's, I think many of you know. And he and I have gone to various schools. We were recently at the Browning School here on the Upper East Side on Martin Luther King Day. And I think young people have to see the closeness that people enjoy. We had a demonstration against terrorism with members of the Turkish community. I have to tell you, the members of the Turkish community said to me, make sure that there's an Israeli flag there, because there were Jews who were killed in that terrorist incident. And we want people to see that Muslims and Jews stand together against terrorism. We have a Battery Park, not Battery Park, in Bowling Green. There's a little park there, and there's a raising of the flag, the Turkish flag, the Israeli flag. I never knew of this until a Muslim called me and said, make sure you're there for the Israeli flag and bring a flag with you, right? So we're trying as best we can to form stronger alliances and to go out there and to help one another. We work together with UNICEF, U.S. Fund, in terms of raising funds collectively for people who are hurting so many countries. I see Judith Banky here, and I just want to say the following, Judy. I remember hearing you years ago when I was young. And
what about me?
And you were talking about the pain of the past, and all of the hatred that permeated too many chapters of religious history. And I would say that we are in a better place today than where we were. We're not where we want to be, but thank God we're not where we used to be in terms of Christian-Jewish relations. I think we have a long way to go with the Muslim community. But I remember, and the reason I think you have to walk away hopeful, I remember once at a Passover Seder, talking about the plagues. It was at the UN. We had a Seder at the UN. And right in front of me, as I'm talking about the plagues, I'm looking, there's the ambassador from Egypt. Oh my God, talking about the plagues. I got the ambassador from Egypt right here. So I said to him, and I was very honest, I said, sir, I feel very uncomfortable at the moment. But there's one thing I realize. That the fact that you and I are sitting here, the fact that at that time Israel and Egypt had better relations than they have now, shows one thing, that the adversaries of yesterday can be the allies of today. The fact that this hatred was written then doesn't mean it has to continue. And the only way it's going to stop is when we start doing something about it, not just talking about it.
Thank you, and I think that was a fantastic question. Can we have a response for the same question? Reverend?
I don't really need it. I've always envisioned myself exploding. There's all kinds of interfaith education programs going on in Catholic, mostly high schools. And they involve not just talking about the other, but having the other come in and talk about themselves, and on-site visits. So there are things going there. What I'm concerned about, and we're trying to work on here in New York, is the adults who didn't go through that kind of an education, who are not being educated on these things in the church for any number of reasons, some of them understandable, but trying to get that, we would like to, some of us are talking about having an interfaith Sunday, where that's the topic in all the churches, but that's a ways off. But I think with the youth, a lot is being done. With the adults, not nearly enough yet.
I would like to also say a couple of things on that. We have wonderful projects to come, especially this summer. For example, we are going to Israel and Turkey. 5 Israeli guys and 5 Turkish Muslim guys, 5 days in Israel and 5 days in Turkey. We will have a wonderful trip. And if there is a plan to establish good things, wonderful things, you need a good foundation, a trust, as we said, and genuine relationship. So we are trying to establish that right now. And the other thing that we have realized as Peace Islands Institute, so far, many institutions did a lot of wonderful things. Like we did today, we organized something and inviting people to speak or either attend. Then we have realized, this is good, but this is not really what should have happened. And we should really organize with others, and I'm really pleased to inform you that I'm right now putting together an advisory board from every tradition, and I'm pleased to announce that Father Mellon is one of them. And we are going to decide together and do the programs together. I'm hoping to involve every tradition that there is, not limited with Abrahamic traditions, to involve in the decision-making process. And there are wonderful things that we could do, but if we are not doing it together, it's not going to work. That's something that we have realized. It will work, but in some extent. Then otherwise, it's going to be my work supported by others, not everyone's work. So we want it to be everyone's work. And we have started in Boston. There is a wonderful Turkish movie recently came. It is called The Turkish Passport. And it talks about the people in France, right? Rescued by the Turkish diplomats with a Turkish passport, Jewish people at the time of evil, so to say. And it really helps. It's a good timing to establish, to restore the relationship, especially between Israel and Turkey. In Harvard, 700 people watched it. And we are working with Columbia University and different synagogues, and Rabbi knows it, and we are under his command. Whatever he says, we'll do. Thank you very much.
And also, I would like to thank every one of you in the audience for being with us this evening. Your final words? Yes.
One very short thing. Idealistic approach that you mentioned, that people going to Israel and Turkey. How is that going to help when NYPD is conducting espionage activity against Muslim community here in tri-state area?
All right, maybe I can give this answer to that. Like we are a civic organization, so we encourage people-to-people relations. So basically, the people, the Turkish American people, and the Jewish community in Brooklyn. So we are not going with government. We are not going with any officials. So we do it with the teenagers. So they study the the Turkish Jewish history throughout the history. For 1 year, they went to Washington, D.C. So now, not only the teens, but now the adults, the leadership, which Barry mentioned. So we're going to Israel for 5 days, and to Turkey, not just to visit Istanbul, Hagia Sophia, or whatever. We're going to meet with the people there. We're going to meet people in Turkey. We're going to visit, some historical sites. So we will come back with really good stories and good, stories to be told over here. But this is a step. We know that there are many steps to take. But I know, what you mentioned, we had our response to that. You can read it on our website. But, this initiative has nothing to do with that. So we are starting it as the Turkish and the Jewish. Now we would like to do it with the Turkish and the Greek, and maybe, the African Americans and with some others. So it's more like, a peace-building project. Again, I would like to thank every one of you. You were so patient with us. But, I believe it's worth having such wonderful speakers. Thank you, Rabbi Potasnik. Thank you, Reverend, and